Hello and welcome to the Commander's Quarters, your Magic the Gathering source that helps you command your budget. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all their support. Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Quarters studio. Welcome to the show. Today's episode comes to you courtesy of Derek, who's been supporting this channel as a general tier patron. I truly couldn't do this without the support from amazing patrons like Derek, so again, Derek, thank you so much. And for the personalized deck tech, Derek chose Otrimi the Ever-Playful with a deck focusing around the Mutate mechanic. Otrimi is a 6/6 Nightmare Beast for 3 black, green, blue. But it also has a mutate cost for 1 black, green, blue, and if you cast a spell for its mutate cost, you put it over or under a target non-human creature you own, they mutate into the creature on top plus all the abilities from under it. Otrimi has Trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, return target creature card with Mutate from your graveyard to your hand. So Otrimi can be a very powerful Mutate commander. By mutating onto another non-human creature, it can become a 6/6 with Trample and whatever else it has. And then Trample can come in really handy to get some damage through and to get more Mutate creatures back from your graveyard. And again, the more and more that you mutate onto that creature, the deadlier it can become. And there are a ton of cool mutate effects out there that can really benefit you by mutating onto a creature over and over again. But before we get further on to the deck tech, a huge thank you to SyrProxy for making this amazing proxy of this commander. And actually, SyrProxy will be giving this proxy away to one lucky viewer. So to enter, simply like my giveaway tweet and make sure you're following at SyrProxy on Twitter and myself at EDH Quarters. The winner will be selected after 1 week from the launch of this video. Now we've got some setup mutate cards that can really help us out, like Mysterious Egg and Zagoth Mamba. Mysterious Egg just starts off as a 0/2 for 1, but it has when it mutates, you put a ++1 counter on it. So the more and more times this mutates, the bigger this creature's gonna get. And then Zagoth Mamba is a 1/1 for a black, and it says whenever this creature mutates, target creature opponent controls gets -2/-2 until end of turn. So by mutating onto this, we can take out some of our opponent's small creatures, or if we mutate multiple times in a turn, we can take out some even bigger ones. Next up, we've got some creatures that can benefit us no matter which creature that we mutate onto. Essence Symbiote says whenever a creature you control mutates, put a ++1 counter on that creature and you gain 2 life. So now this can grow any of our creatures that mutate, and it can also help pad our life total as well. And then Polywog Symbiote says each creature spell you cast costs 1 less to cast if it has mutate. And then whenever you cast a creature spell, if it has mutate, draw a card, then discard a card. So this can help us save some mana throughout the game, as well as helping us with card selection by looting. And we even have a card that can help us with card advantage, like Season of Growth. It says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1, and whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, draw a card. So first off, with our creatures entering the battlefield, we can scry cards off the top that we don't need. And then because mutate does target, whenever we mutate onto a creature, we're going to be drawing a card. So this little 2 mana enchantment can provide us a ton of card advantage throughout the game. Now let's talk about some creatures that can be some fantastic targets for us to mutate onto, starting off with Cold-Eyed Selkie. It's a 1/1 Merfolk Rogue for 1 Simic that has Island Walk. On top of that, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, we can draw that many cards. So Cold-Eyed Selkie can already get through on a lot of opponents because of that Island Walk. Now it's only going to start off as drawing us 1 card when it gets through, but again, if we mutate onto this, it can make it even deadlier and hit harder. And then when it does hit harder, we get to draw cards based on how hard it hit. Now because we're investing so much into a mutate creature though, it's a good idea to invest into one that can be protected. So we're going to be running some mutate targets with Hexproof. Solana Ledgewalker is just a 1/1 elf rogue with Hexproof for 1 and a green, but it also can't be blocked except by creatures with flying. So this is a protected creature that is evasive, and again when we mutate onto it, we can make it even deadlier. Another great target might be Nightveil Predator, which is a 3/3 vampire with flying and death touch and hexproof. And then Witchstalker can be a fantastic target, a 3/3 with hexproof, and whenever an opponent casts a blue or black spell during our turn, we put a ++1 counter on Witchstalker. So if opponents are casting blue or black spells during our turn, this gets even bigger. Now another keyword that can be fantastic at protecting our mutated creature is regeneration. For example, River Boa is a 2/1 snake with Island Walk that has pay a green regenerate River Boa. So yeah, this mutate target has evasion on top of being able to regenerate for just 1 mana. Speaking of evasion and regeneration, there's Mischievous Poltergeist, a 1/1 spirit with flying that has pay 1 life, regenerate Mischievous Poltergeist. So we don't even have to keep mana up for this one, we just have to make sure we have enough life to regenerate it. And of course then there's Troll Ascetic, which is a 3/2 Troll Shaman with Hexproof that has pay 1 and a green regenerated. So this Mutate target is protected in multiple ways, not being able to be targeted by spells or abilities our opponents control, and on top of that, even if someone casts a Wrath or something like that, we can regenerate for 1 and a green. So that makes this Mutate target really hard to kill. Other creatures that are hard to kill are things like Darksteel Mirror and Predator Ooze, which have Indestructible. Now, Darksteel Mirror is just a 0/1 mirror with Indestructible, but again, still, we can make this a lot deadlier by mutating onto it. And then Predator Ooze is a 1/1 Indestructible Ooze, and whenever it attacks, we put a +1 counter on it. On top of that, whenever a creature dealt damage by it dies, we put a +1 counter on it as well. So this incredible Mutate target is incredibly hard to deal with, and it can get bigger and bigger throughout the game. Now, as great as all these Mutate targets are, there's one that stands well above the rest in my opinion. And actually, on a recent episode which I called Hardest Creatures to Kill, it was featured pretty heavily in that one as well. So if you've already seen that episode, you might recognize the golden pick of this deck, which is the #1 card out of our 99, and the golden pick for this deck is Elusive Tormentor. Elusive Tormentor is simply a 4/4 vampire wizard that costs 2 black, but it has pay 1, discard a card, transform it. It transforms into Insidious Mist, which is a 0/1 elemental with hexproof and indestructible. It also can't block and can't be blocked, and whenever it attacks and isn't blocked, we can pay 2 and a black, and if we do, we transform it, but we're probably never going to be doing that. Again, this creature might just start off as a 0/1, but simply mutating onto it, we can make it a lot more powerful. And with that incredible combination of hexproof and indestructible, this creature is going to be incredibly hard to stop. Our opponents can't target it, and most of their board wipes can't deal with it. On top of that, although we can't block with it, we can just keep attacking with it because our opponents can't block it. So yeah, when we mutate onto this, that's going to be one incredible threat. Again, there's definitely a reason that Insidious Mist was featured in my Hardest Creatures to Kill episode. But now let's go over some of those Mutate creatures that have some really beneficial effects for us, like Migratory Greathorn and Auspicious Sterix. Migratory Greathorn is a 3/4 beast that has Mutate for 2 and a green, and whenever it mutates, we search our library for a basic land and put that card into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle our library. So once we start mutating onto that creature again and again and again, we're going to keep ramping again and again and again. And speaking of ramping, as well as a lot of other things, Auspicious Sterix is fantastic in this deck. A 6/6 with Mutate for 5 and a green. Whenever this creature mutates, exile cards to the top of your library until you exile X permanent cards or X is the number of times this creature has mutated. Put those permanent cards onto the battlefield. So the more and more times we mutate, the more things we get off the top of our library into play for free. Yeah, that can get out of hand pretty quickly. We've also got some Mutate creatures that can help us with card advantage as well, like Sea Dasher Octopus and Dreamtail Heron. Sea Dasher Octopus is a 2/2 octopus with Mutate for 1 and a blue, and it's got Flash, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Again, a lot of our Mutate targets have some form of evasion, so we generally can get a creature through with this. And then Dreamtail Heron is just a great additional value to mutating, a 3/4 with Mutate for 3 and a blue. Whenever this creature mutates, draw a card. Next up, we've got some other ways to generate card advantage with Boneyard Lurker and Mind Leecher. Boneyard Lurker is a 4/4 Nightmare Beast with Mutate to Golgari. Whenever this creature mutates, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. So on top of our commander having recursion, this is a fantastic way to recur things as well. And then Mind Leecher is a 5/5 Nightmare for 4 and a black, and it has flying, and whenever this creature mutates, exile the top card of each opponent's library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. So we can thank all of our opponents while we're stealing their things and using them against them. But we also have some ways to hurt our opponents as well with some of our Mutate effects like Cavern Whisperer and Chittering Harvester. Cavern Whisperer is a 4/4 Nightmare with Mutate for 3 and a black, and it's got Menace. Whenever this creature mutates, each opponent discards a card. Throughout the game, this can help us demolish our opponent's hands and keep them from controlling the board. And then Chittering Harvester can help keep things off their board, a 4/6 Nightmare with Mutate for 4 and a black. Whenever this creature mutates, each opponent sacrifices a creature. So this is basically a repeatable Mass Edict Mutate effect, and that's pretty fantastic in a multiplayer game. We've also got some more targeted removal effects that come with Dirgebat, Gemrazor, and Sawtusk Demolisher. Dirgebat is a 3/3 with Mutate for 4 black, and it's got Flash and Flying, and whenever this creature mutates, destroy a target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. So every time we mutate, we're going to be taking something out. And then Gemrazor can remove other things, a 4/4 beast with Mutate for 1 green, and it's got Reach and Trample. And whenever this creature mutates, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. So we can wreck our opponent's mana rocks and their plans and a lot of other things. And then Sawtusk Demolisher can wreck pretty much anything, a 6/6 with trample, 4/3 and a green. Whenever this creature mutates, destroy target non-creature permanent, its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. So this is basically like a repeatable Terrastodon effect. And giving our opponents a 3/3 in exchange for getting rid of some of their most important things is definitely a deal we'll do any day of the week. And finally, we also have some other mutate effects that can be quite helpful to us and hurtful to our opponents. Archipelagore is a 7/7 Leviathan with mutate for 5 and a blue. It has whenever this creature mutates, tap up to X target creatures where X is the number of times this creature has mutated. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap step. So this can shut down an opponent's board to help get our creatures through or to protect us. And then Souvenir Snatcher is a 4/4 bird with mutate for 5 and a blue with flying, and it says whenever this creature mutates, gain control of target non-creature artifact. So basically, all your artifacts become my artifacts. And a fantastic finisher in this deck can be Insatiable Hemiphage. It's a 3/3 nightmare with Death Touch that has mutate for 2 and a black. Whenever this creature mutates, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life where X is the number of times this creature is mutated. So it's kind of like a repeatable mutate Gary. But again, aside from this, there are plenty of really powerful things that we can do with this deck and plenty of ways that we can finish our opponents off with our deadly mutate creatures. If you're looking to play this deck, consider joining the amazing PlayEDH Discord. It's a great way to play Commander over webcam. In the description below, you'll find their Discord invite link as well as the tier that this deck has been approved at next to the deck list. So if you want to pick it up and play it as is, you can, and be sure to read their welcome information for more details. And with that, the show has come to a close, so it's my turn to hear from you, so make sure you comment below and let me know what your thoughts on this episode are, and as always, thanks again and have a good one.